What's going on, everybody? I'm going to take you on a journey of what it's like to build a detached ADU in Southern California. It all begins first with converting my current and existing detached garage, tearing it down, and making it an awesome place to live. So as you can see, I'm in my garage right now. Got a ton of stuff to reorganize, got a ton of stuff to move. Don't have much storage, and that's the first tackle. But this is gonna be a long series. This is gonna be a series of building out an awesome 500 square foot ADU in Southern California, and follow my journey. Everything I learned will be right here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so before I take you through the journey of reorganizing this entire garage, all my tools, all my stuff, and putting them inside that little trailer right there temporarily, let's take a couple steps back. Let's go back to the time in which I started designing the detached ADU. Let me talk about some of the hurdles of the city, the county, the state, and everything else in between just to get my permit. Let's take a step back and go take a look at all of the work I've done so far. So I started with the design to put a second story on my existing detached garage that sat behind my house. And I actually got that approved. It went through the city, went through plan check, public works, engineering, building, everything, and it got fully approved. But on the same day that I went to pull my permit, the city brought me into a small little closet office and said, hey, we're gonna have to withdraw your approval status and you're gonna have to redesign it for a handful of different reasons, which we'll get into now. So first of all, if you plan on building an ADU, you must read the Accessory Dwelling Unit Handbook. It's provided by the California Department of Housing and Community Development and has everything you need in it to understand what you can and cannot build. I'll go ahead and link it in the info below. So according to my city, the reason they withdrew my approval status was due to height and setback requirements. Now in my initial design, I knew there was a 4-foot setback requirement, which is why I had my rear setback at 7 feet to give some extra space. But my local government did not yet have an ordinance dictating height requirements. And the state's answer to the question, is there a limit on the height of an ADU or number of stories? They responded, not in state ADU law, but local agencies may impose height limits provided that the limit is no less than 16 feet. So while designing my ADU, I looked into my city's laws and didn't see an ordinance that was governing ADU height requirements. So after reviewing HCD's laws, I realized I can go above 16 feet. But instead of grandfathering me in, my city withdrew my approval status pending a future ordinance which would then limit the height of all ADUs to 16 feet. This cost me thousands of dollars in re-engineering fees because I had to redesign an entire structure and delayed my project by almost 2 years. So I went back to the drawing board. I had to create a whole new set of plans, design a whole new structure, submit a whole new project, go through plan check again, make all my appropriate corrections, and finally, after 2.5 years, I was able to finally pull a permit and break ground on the structure. So if you think you need an expensive architect, drafter, you don't. You can do this yourself with existing plans online. Just copy them, mimic them, mirror them, submit, use your city's plan check, the fees that you're already paying, as your guiding light to make corrections to these plans, and you'll get your permit and you'll save yourself tens of thousands of dollars. But if designing your own ADU and creating your own plans seems a little overwhelming, I'm more than happy to help. Head to my website at www.devlinbuilderco.com or shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to talk about your project. So let's pick back up where we started this story, where all great construction projects start at breaking ground and demolishing my existing single-car garage. All right, so let's get demoing. I'm gonna start organizing some of my workbench. I need to move all of my tools that were previously right there into that little trailer right there in a nice, neat fashion so that I can continue to pull them out as I begin to deconstruct this existing 70-year-old garage and start building the foundation for this ADU. Gonna save all this electrical. Why not? It's still good. is taking much slower than I thought. That's because I'm being well organized, trying to put everything back so that I can retrieve it easily again in the future. But also, I'm trying to recycle as much of this garage unit as possible. Not so much drywall, concrete, things like that, but all my screws that I can collect, all the electrical, all the plumbing. You can see over here, we got a bunch of awesome plumbing and electrical that we'll be able to recycle. So it is taking longer than expected, but it's all good. All right, so take a look at this. Right there, there, back a little bit there. All of this, and especially up in there, all termite shit and termite damage. This is the roofing. That's old damage from like 10 years ago, but this is new framing that I put in like 6-7 years ago, and it's already gotten termite damage. So it's a perfect timing to rip this thing down and start anew. Let's test this circuit before we start hacking at this wall. Okay. All right, let's go turn that off first. All right, so before we continue with the drywall, I'm going to need to remove all of this electrical because I don't want to bust these outlets or these boxes. I want to reuse as much as possible. So I'm going to take a break from removing that drywall, get some of this electrical out, and then continue on with demoing the rest of this side. I need to find a place to store my surfboards. Pigtail. So day one of interior demo is completed. A lot of work done. Looks completely different. Getting a lot of the electrical done and out. A lot of the wood paneling that I had before. Just overall all the junk gone and organized in the trailer back there. So we're gonna keep going and see you again tomorrow in the next one.